I am All Music Editor Greg Heaney. I am here with UHF Records' Jeff Pubeck, and we are standing in a storage locker in front of part of the record collection of hip-hop legend Jay Dilla. So Jeff, why don't you tell us how you came across this?
We get calls all the time to the store, and in this particular case, got a call. Woman said they had about 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 records. She didn't know, and honestly, I still don't. Still haven't counted it.
Yeah.
So, as we usually do, came out to the appointment and checked it out and made her an offer. And through a little negotiating, she accepted, and bought myself more records. Started processing the stuff, and it wasn't until a couple weeks into it that I decided to climb to the back and look at some of the other boxes, and there was a box of cassettes, homemade cassettes and junk mail and just some miscellaneous paperwork. There were a few different names: Beverly Yancey, James Yancey, and Maureen Yancey. And again, that meant nothing to me.
Right.
So I didn't think twice about it, went on my way, brought more back to the store, gave it to the guys, let them process. It wasn't for a couple days later, and I don't know why I did it, but we were driving to another record appointment, and I pulled out the iPhone and Googled James Yancey, and about hit the floor when his the Jay Dilla, who I have heard of,
right,
his Wikipedia page popped up. And sure enough, there at the bottom, it did mention Beverly and Maureen being his parents. So at that point, I kind of figured what I had here. Just to confirm, the next day I came back to the bin and actually started looking at the cassettes, as opposed to a fleeting glance that because I was going to throw it away anyway. So yeah, the tapes were marked JD, Beats, Rough Ideas were a few of them. Just a lot of various tapes and a couple composition books, and at that point I was pretty much convinced that this did belong to him. Rumors started getting out, and people were coming in saying, "We heard you bought Jay's records." So what we decided to do was just as opposed to just pointing them out, because the one employee that was pricing it, he kind of remembered what he did and what he didn't do. So he started marking some of them with just a little sticker saying Jay Dilla. In the meantime, though, I had been attempting to get a hold of the Dilla Foundation. I'd gone to the foundation website and tried using that phone number there, which was an unset up Magic Jack. If you're familiar. This Magic Jack has not been set up yet. So I tried that, and I tried messaging through the foundation website. And again, to no avail. I got no response really from anyone. So as far as I was concerned, no one cared. Subsequently, I found out that she did indeed get the messages, and she apologized for ignoring them, but she explained that she's bombarded with scams all the time, and she thought that this was just more BS, someone else trying to take advantage of her. After the newspaper article came out, then she believed it. Then she got in touch with me, and I let her know that I believe it did belong to Jay. And she confirmed with me that, that they were storing some of his collection here. And she had explained that it ended up here because at one time his basement flooded, and some of the records were ruined. So they decided to get it out of the basement, and they put it over in storage bin number 30. And she says it was set up with shelving, that she had it set up alphabetical order, and Jay would contact her and say, I need, record title such and such on shelf number, that he knew where everything was. So she would go to the shelf, come to the storage facility, go to the shelf and ship it off to him. So
when he had moved out to
once he moved out to Los Angeles, everyone knows Jay got sick. So she had gone out what she thought was going to be a 2-week trip just to help him out, and she ended up being out there for 2 years until the day he passed. Yeah, and during that 2 years that she's out there taking care of him, she lost track of the unit.
Yeah, like when you look at this collection, it's special because of who it belonged to, but I mean there's nothing in here that you wouldn't find at any flea market or garage sale.
You're absolutely right.
There's the same copy of Sergio Mendes Equinox that you've seen at every
whose grandma doesn't have that.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. It's like Styx Records and Earth, Wind and Fire, and we found a copy of Aqualung.
Right.
And so there's nothing. I mean, there are a handful of. I mean, there's like some test pressings and some other valuable stuff, and you guys haven't actually been able to go through everything, right?
For the most part, I mean, once it was figured out, I did go through because I am, we're still talking with the family and the foundation, and I probably will end up. They've asked for a portion of them, which that's great.
Right.
I've got no problem with that, and I actually think I might even turn it all over to them.
Has there been any like backlash or anything?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was huge, I guess basically it was, what business do I have selling Jay's collection? And again, the first few weeks of selling it,
right,
I didn't know whose it was.
Right, because probably a lot of these records under normal circumstances, if they didn't come in a big lot like this, you would probably turn them away.
Yeah, exactly. The bulk of it, he shopped the 99-cent bin, and that's the bulk of what it is they're 99-cent records in various degrees of condition. So by no means is it a gold mine. I thought the only thing that there was any type of significant value was the tapes. And what am I going to do with them, Right. It was full of her mail, and they were his tapes, they were never mine, so.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, she came and she came to the bin, and it was actually it kind of choked me up a bit. But when I pulled that box out of the tapes and the paperwork, I mean, we were standing right here, and she was silent for a few minutes, and she just got the biggest smile on her face. Once the first thing she said was, "This is his writing," all of his tapes and his books. So it was really cool. It was really cool getting it back in her hands.
And either the records go back, or the proceeds or whatever go to the Dell Foundation.
Yep, all that's being worked out right now.
Of
course, there's lawyers involved.
Right. Right.
There are labels out there that claim to own anything that he's put out. So that's the reason that I will be glad to get rid of it, because I'm actually in the middle between a couple different factions that are claiming rights. But as far as I'm concerned, this was hers. That stuff was hers, so it went back to her.
Anything in here is really, like for sentimental value for whoever picks it up. It's
exactly.
It's just having a piece of like that collection.
And that's actually what a lot of the calls have been. Are I would love to own a piece of his collection.
Right.
So it seems to me, I guess there is some value in it just because of whose it was and not what it is.
Yeah.
So. And hopefully, if that is the case, we'll see, because that money will go to the foundation. It's the thrill of the hunt, man.
I'm telling you, dude.
It's fun, man.